In this lecture, we'll see how to create a pushing animations. We have the character and there's a little box, and the character is going to push this box a little further. So let's go to frame number 1 and make our first pose. Okay, so this is our first pose. So let's create a keyframe on frame number 1. Select all the controls that we want to animate. So both the legs, the hip, the spine, neck, head, 2 hands, and all the fingers. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so all these controls will have to create a keyframe, so let's press S. So as you can see, everything got a keyframe, frame number 1. So let's create the second keyframe at frame number 10, so that's 10 frames. So at 10 frames I will make the character make contact with the box. So let's see, we move the hip forward so that he will reach out to touch, and I can also take one leg forward. Okay, so at the same time I'll have to move the hands in order to grab it. Okay, so let's rotate that, something like that. I think I'll have to push it down. Like that, and there we go. He's gonna grab it, push down, push out. Okay, so I'll have to take this out, rotate him out. Let's see, that's too much. Let me try to control these fingers separately. Okay, so let's see, let's take this out a little bit, and let's try the next finger and the next finger. Probably move the finger a little bit more. Yes. Okay, so now he's grabbing onto that. Okay, so at the same time let's also rotate these fingers down so that these are actually touching them. Okay, 1, 2. We should make sure that the fingers are not going inside the box. At the same time, we can also control each of those fingers separately instead of rotating all of them together. Let's see, I'll push these things up a little bit. Okay. Let me see if I can bring the hand a little bit down. A bit more, like so. And now I can control the second middle area of the fingers. A little bit of base. But I'll keep the fingertips straight. Yes. Okay, so that's making nice contact. Move the base further and tip a little bit more. Okay, so now you can see that it's making really good contact. We'll have to do the same thing on the other fingers. So let's push the base down. Okay, push the tip up. Okay, good enough. Let's try the same on these. Push the base further down, but the tip a little bit up. Base down, tip up. Okay, good enough. Okay, so that's one hand. Let's see how that looks. It's coming and grabbing. Okay, good enough. We'll have to create some in-betweens, not a problem, we'll do that later. And we'll give some time. I don't want to make both the hands grab onto the object at the same time, so I'll give it a time. Let's say give something like 15 frames for the second hand to act. So let's go to 15 and let's make him grab onto the side. So let's hold it to the side. Okay, let's make him hold onto the side. Okay. Let's rotate this a little bit outside. Let's try the base. Okay, good. So there he is making contact. Now because the leg has moved forward, we'll have to create a little ball roll on that. So let's say we have a ball roll here. So let's see, frame number, okay, so till 10 we'll keep a ball roll just to make the hip move a bit. So that is okay. So he's grabbing with one hand, then he's grabbing with second hand. Okay, good. Now let's just create the in-between for this leg. Actually, both the leg and the hip has to go up, and we can also reposition the hands, or we'll leave the hands right now. So hip and the leg that is moving forward. Okay, so let's push both of them up a bit. Okay, and at this stage the ball roll has to be back to 0. Okay, maybe that's too much. Let's bring it a little bit down, just to make sure that it's the left leg is not stretching too much. So the leg is going up and then it should go down. So let's go here, select this guy, both of them actually. Bring Y to 0. Might have to bring this a little bit down. Good enough. So going up and down, I don't feel much of a difference. Let me check in the side view to see if he's really going up. It's just a very small movement. Okay, so let me just exaggerate that a little bit and bend him just to see that he's going up and down. Let's rotate it back to 0 and translate Y to 0. So let's say it's going up and down. Okay, good. So up and down. Let's check here. Okay. So one hand and the second hand, good enough. Now let's see, at frame number 15 the second hand comes and grabs onto this. Let's look at the fingers now. The fingers are taking the shape even before they're going there, and there are some little interference happening. So let's see if we can fix that. So just before frame number 10, so it's becoming that pose at frame number 10. So let's go to a couple of frames before, let's say 7. Frame number 7, let's stretch them out. So let me select all these. All I have to do is just rotate them out. Okay, it's not that easy. I'll have to control each of them separately. So let's see. Let's make 0 for fingertip. Let's make 0 for base. Make that 0. And now we can just adjust them manually. So let's see, something like that. Just to bring some uneven pose. Okay, I think that's good enough. Let's take a closer look at the fingers. It's going up and grabbing on. Okay, good enough. I think I might have to create a keyframe for the hand also at the same pose. So something like a so instead of just going and grabbing onto it, I'll just make him go a little bit up and maybe a little rotation. Okay, good enough. So let's see, push up and then he's going to grab. Okay. Okay, good. Let's do the same thing on the other hand. So let's select all these controls, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we can actually, instead of starting that animation from there, we can actually start this from frame number 5. So I'll push it so that there's a little gap. That's not looking very natural, so I'll just move the hand a little bit. So from there I'll push this, okay, push that back to frame number 1. Let's go to 5. Okay, so at 5 let's try to keep him almost in the same place. Let's take him go back. Okay, good enough. So it's going back and then coming forward. Okay. So just before 15, just 3 frames before, that's at frame number 12. Let's take him out. Okay, so that it would look as if he's coming from side to grab onto the box. Okay, maybe a little rotation outside, and I can also control these fingers just to give them a little bend. Let's see how this looks, because I just pushed it a little bit to the extreme out. Let's see how that looks. Going back. I think that's fine. Just one little problem, this control has gone too much out. Why is these guys? Okay, good enough. Okay, so I think that's good. So frame number 15. Let's play that back. Let me just reduce this number of frames to something like 20 so that we get a better playback. Okay. Grabbing onto these things. Okay, good. Okay, now let him start to push. I'll make this something like 45 so that I'll have some space. Okay, so 15, and then let's go to frame number 25. So that's 10 frames. Let's say I want to give some push from frame number 10 till 15. There's no movement, so let me just create a small movement there. Okay, just to make feel that he's alive. Okay, when the hand goes forward, fine. Okay, now he has to push. Now the push has to come basically from the leg. So let's go to frame number 25. Let's make the hip move closer. And let me see if I can increase this ball roll a bit more. Yes. So this increase has to come from, let's say, after 15. So let's create a keyframe of 15, and then so I'll start with this. Let's take it to 20. Increase that a bit. Okay, and hip goes forward 25. Okay, so let's play that back, see how that looks. Okay, his body is going forward. Now his hand has to push. Okay, so let's go to frame number 20 from 25. So let's push, let's make it move further. Now before doing that, I have to create some controls, or I can actually use this cube for animation. It's better not to do that, so I'll create a small control curve, create snub circle options. I'll make it linear with 4 sections. So if I hit that, I should be able to get a diamond, which I can rotate 45 degrees in order to make it as a cube. I'll scale this out. Let me freeze transformation, delete by type history, and that works perfect. So I'll make this as a child of this. Before that, let me just freeze transformation once again. Freeze transformation, delete by type history, make this to be a child of this. Let me do the same on this one also. Okay, so now this guy, okay, this guy will have a couple of constraints on this object. So let's go ahead and select this and shift select this hand. Let's create a point constraint. Okay, and do the same thing on this one with the other hand. Constraint, point constraint. So now, as you can see, the hand goes with the box. Let's go ahead and do the same thing here. So till frame number, sorry, for this guy, till frame number 10, it has to be, blend point has to be 0. At 10, it has to become 1. So let's see, set keyframe. Go one step before, make it 0. Key selected. For this hand, at frame number 15, key selected. One frame before, make it 0. So let's play that back. Okay, fine. So now he is pushing. Okay. Okay, so 25, the body has come closer, fine. So after this, the cube has to move forward. So from 25, let's go ahead and create a keyframe at 25. Let's see, 5 frames, that is 30, pushing it forward. Good. Let's play back. Good. Now after 30, now this 25 to 30, as you can see, there's no movement of the body. So let's just give a little bit of rotation. You can also flow that rotation through the body. Okay, it looks like I have the IK handle for the spine. Let me just change that to, I don't need to create keyframes on these. Okay, and just break connection. Okay, spine, let's keep it as, okay, FK. So let's see, till frame number 20 to 25 till 30. So let's give a little rotation here. Okay, good enough. Now after 30, I will move this leg forward. I think I can push this even further. Let's see, as long as it goes, something like that. Okay, good. So that you'll have some space for the leg to move on. Push. Okay, now let's push this leg forward. So something like, let's say from 25 itself, I can start to make him move, or let's push it after 30. So from 30, let's say 35, let this leg go forward. Let's make the ball roll to be 0, and along with that, the hip also has to move. Okay, let's play that back. Okay, the hip seems to be moving along. Okay, let me just keep the hip static. I'll just copy this frame, paste it here for the hip, so that I hope, okay, pushing it, then going closer. Yes. Let's play that back, see how that looks. Push, push. Okay, I think I'll give a little break there from 30 to 35, because this movement will push it to the next 5 frames. So let's see, I'll select these two things, push this 5 frames away. So let's see, push, give a little break. Okay, I can just move the, okay, here there's a little stretching happening. Just avoid that stretch by moving the hip a little bit. Okay, 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 now all I have to do is lift this leg and the hip at the same time a little bit, from 30 till 35 till 40. So let's create a keyframe. Yes, S, and in between, let's push them up a little bit. Hip maybe just a little bit, not too much, but the leg has to go up. Let's make the ball roll to be 0, push it somewhere in the center, up, and rotate. Let's see how that looks. We can further enhance the animation with the help of little follow-throughs for the spine. And we can repeat the same animation in order to make him move further straightforward. Let's make a play blast. This concludes the lecture on pushing object.